Hey there, comic book fans. I am back from the comic shop again this week. 5 new comics this week. I think 4, and I pulled one off the shelf. But first, let me show you my 2 museum top of the printer comics of the week. Then we got a George Perez Teen Titans. What issue number is that? 7? Classic George Perez. What is that? Dr. Light ranting in front of the screens of little characters there. And this is a Howard Chaykin cover. The Verdict. This is the inside is done by Dean Haspiel. I think this came out in '87. And back in '87, Dean and I were actually going to school together. He was one of the people who went to the same art school I did, and he was Howard Chaykin's assistant right before he went to school too. And Dean does he's been doing comics for years. He was the king of the mini comics in the '90s. He's doing a web comic I think is printed too, called The Red Hook, about Red Hook, Brooklyn, the superhero is from. So if you know Dean's stuff, here is very early Dean work with a Howard Chaykin cover in 1987 Eternity Comics, The Verdict. Along with some nice George Perez stuff. Those are the 2 covers I've had on top of my printer that I've been looking at. So let me see what comics I got. Oh, look at that. Got Bent in the Bag. Freaking annoying paper thin covers. My cover got bent over. Now it's all bent and smushy. Really no big deal, but still annoying. What's the furthest place from here? Is this a $4 issue? Yeah, it's a $4 issue. Feels like it might be 40 pages. These have been some pretty big issues. I've enjoyed these. It's what I'd call it a post-apocalyptic story, but it's a much gentler post-apocalyptic story. It's about these teenagers who have grown up without any adults around, and there's really no explanation for why there are no adults around, and they've been living in this city, and there's other teenagers who kind of all form gangs and are enemies of each other, and then they had to leave their city, so that now they're on, I don't know, a quest? I don't know what you'd call it. But there's lots of 8 and 9 panel grids. I really like the art. Who is this? Tyler Boss and Matthew Rosenberg are doing this one, and Hassan Atsami Allahu is on the lettering. It's just good stuff. Oh, look at that. There's a little key with all their friends. Some of the, like, one of the gang members wear these pigs masks. But I just, I don't know, gentle post-apocalyptic story. Really good. Enjoying this one. Chapter 23. I wonder how many issues this is going. It's got to be... The first issue was huge. It was like 80 pages. The second issue was also big. It was like 48 pages. And this one feels like it could be 48 too. So I must have had a lot of this done before the first issue came out. So I imagine they have a set time when it's going to end. But I'm not sure what it is, when it's ending. Then we've got The Savage Dragon, number 261. First, I think this is the first issue of The Savage Dragon in a while. And this is... what's his name? Paul Dragon. He's not the original Savage Dragon from this series. He's the Savage Dragon from the original mini-series that Eric Larson did when he was really young. And that they just put those graphic something, that they put 2 facsimile issues of out last year. Look, there's Miko. So, and he doesn't have the dragon's healing factor, so he lost his arm and got a robot arm in place. And he's got this, he doesn't have a fin, he's got this little turd, they call it, on his head sometimes. But lots of fun superhero action. You know, I've got 261 issues of it, so you know I like it. Oh, look, this is wrapping up. It's Odin's Eye, number 5. This one, my name's on. Let me check checking the spot varnish on it. Oh, pretty cool. But this has been really good. I've enjoyed this series thoroughly. He's perfect. I've really enjoyed this series. 5 weekly issues. This is the last one. Joshua Dysart, Thomas Giarello, Diego Rodriguez, and story of this little girl who's on a quest for Odin, and it does a great job about mixing the historical and the fantastic. And I think this is the best Bad Idea comic I've read. And you'll see my name in the back under production. But really, really good stuff. I recommend if you can find Odin's. It's not a cheap series either. It's been $8 an issue, with the first issue being $10. The first issue was like double. It was like 80 pages. And they've been, I think, 40 pages since then. I can't even remember. It was 32 maybe. But anyway, it's not a cheap series, but at least that cover is not going to bend in the bag, huh? Then we've got the Department of Truth. What were they doing last issue? I can't. We're in the middle of a story, I think. Deviation 4, Point Pleasant. I don't know. James Tinian, David Romero is the writer and artist. Idiata Bidikar is the letterer, designer. Dylan Todd, editor. Steve Fox. But I've been enjoying. No, this one's weird. I've been enjoying this one. Oh, this one looks like a lot of illustration and text. I don't always find that the best. Oh, I guess this is where we're supposed to be reading a file. That's a nice illustration, but I've enjoyed this series. It's about if enough people believe a conspiracy, it becomes true. It rewrites history. So the Department of Truth is trying to stop people. They try to nip conspiracies in the bud and stop people from believing in them, so that it doesn't rewrite history. Good stuff, enjoyable, lots of imagination. Like that one. Oh, and then we've got, this is the last one I got, which I picked up off the shelf. Scorched, #1. This is the 4th Spawn #1. I bought the others. There's Spawn, King Spawn, Spawn, War of a bunch of them. I only bought the first issues, and I bought the Brett Booth connecting covers, so I had to buy this one. For the Brett, now I have to connect there's Spawn's cape there, so I gotta put the next one up again. I'm gonna put them all together and see what they look like. But who's even doing this one? Script plot Sean Lewis with additional dialogue by Todd McFarlane. The art is Steven Segovia and Paolo Seguera. Colors Ulysses Areola and Nikos Koutsis. I think Ulysses Areola is doing some stuff for Bad Idea. I recognize that name. So, like I said, one Spawn book enough a month is. I'm still buying Spawn because it's the last of the $2.99. Actually, I shouldn't even say still. I started buying Spawn last year because it's the last of the $2.99 books. But I don't need 4 Spawn books a month, even though they're all still $2.99. But I'll check out the first issue. And collected the Brett Booth connecting covers, so I'm good. Let me show you a little of my artwork. What was I doing? I was doing some small stuff this week, working on some of my black and white 3-pin technique drawings, where I work right over some of my sketches from my book. Sometimes I blow these up into bigger things, sometimes I don't. But the other thing I'm doing has an amusing story behind it. Which are these art cards. I forget who said it. It was a random artist in my Twitter feed said something about no matter how much time you put into a drawing, the drawing of the cartoon boobies will get more views. And I said to myself, I don't have enough drawings of cartoon boobies. So I started to make some little pin-up drawings. And then my friend Daisy said to me, you chickened out. I was like, what? You put tops on them. Those aren't cartoon boobies. They've all got tops on them. So now I've got to do some cartoon boobies without tops on them. That's my next project. I might put these up on eBay or something for sale, because why not? These are ACEO cards, and I buy a bunch of them from eBay. I may as well put some for sale up on them too. But there you go. There's some little pin-up cards done with ink and marker. and some regular black ink. I haven't done any of my color ink stuff. But anyway, there's some comics, and you guys have a good week out there.